So much on the line here. Whoever wins the group. If it is a draw, Colombia will effectively win the group there. We saw Ronaldo get his brace against Uzbekistan. He kind of announced to everyone in the world, look, Messi isn't the only superstar playing in this World Cup. Are you expecting to see the same from him tomorrow?
No. No, I think that was dependent on the opponent. I think Uzbekistan were an incredibly easy opponent. Colombia have proven a difficult opposition. I think their defense has been very good so far at this tournament. And I think this is, to me, a game between equals. Maybe a slight favorite to Portugal. Portugal have obviously that incredible talent at midfield, but Colombia as a collective, as a unit, have been as good as South America have had for several years now. And I think this is going to be much more like the kind of games we'll see from Portugal in the knockout stage. I think the first two games have been a different kind of game. I think now Portugal are going to have to prove it at a higher level. So, no, I don't think he's going to get 2 easy goals and multiple other easy chances as he did against Uzbekistan.
You nearly walked out.
Let's let you go first. No, let you go first. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I'm agreeing from a defensive standpoint. I think there's a potential for Colombia to maybe have another humbling for Portugal, obviously getting multiple goals up against Uzbekistan. But I'm agreeing with you. I like Colombia from a defensive standpoint. Munoz with 2 goals as well from that back line. So I think collectively, I think they can make it really difficult for Portugal again. I think this game will be really tight. And if they do that over the course of the game, they know they have the talent. I'm waiting for their front line to really get going, though, from a Colombia standpoint. But defensively, I like them.
I like them defensively. I would never take that away from them. I think they're so solid. There's a real compact and a pride also in defending that I definitely see with Colombia. But what the other aspects of it is, there's also this confidence in Colombia right now that they actually want to implement themselves in the final third and want to go and showcase that they can beat some of the bigger teams, so-called on paper historically. And I actually think that plays into Portugal's hand. I think what we're looking at is potentially 2 teams that really want to make a statement, first of all, and just showcasing as to where they finish and who takes control of the group. But more importantly, there was a lot of question marks around Cristiano Ronaldo, and I thought I saw an adjustment, which is like one of my favourite things to see from coaches. When I see someone like Alberto Martinez, who's obviously he's done what he's done at both national level, international level, domestic level, whatever you want to see, but still wants to make adjustments for his teams to allow his team to be successful. That was the first thing that I think was an encouraging sign for Portugal and how far they can go in this competition.
Yeah, Ronaldo isn't the only storyline, though, is he? There's so many storylines coming out of this game. Jaydee, do you want to give us your storyline to watch then?
Well, when I was talking about those adjustments, I was talking about the fullback positions. What I finally saw was not only just Nuno Mendes and João Cancelo getting themselves into positions where they were impacting the game in the final third, but what they were allowing themselves to do was they all of a sudden became the width. We were asking for more in terms of from the wingers. I think the João Felix inclusion was very smart in terms of just allowing another dynamic for someone going in behind. Pedro Neto switched wings, which I think it gave another dynamic as well for Portugal in terms of a threat in behind. But most importantly, it's because you want to create overloads in the right positions. Ronaldo's runs in terms of in the box was highlighted a lot for the game, but there was a lot more patience in terms of it wasn't the urgency to feel like I need to get into the box as quick as possible. I noticed him utilising his brain and his facilities a little bit more. I'm not going to make Chris Wittyngham any more upset. All I will say is, though, what that allowed in terms of with your fullbacks pushing on and your wingers pushing on, it allowed you to dictate possession more in the middle of the park. And they have a midfield trio that is as good as anybody you see in world football. So as long as Portugal understand where their strengths are and play to that, you will continue to see success for them.
I think that does become difficult for Colombia. I think you're spot on. I think the easiest thing for defenders, no matter how good, is predictability. So if you're making those adjustments and changing things up, Colombia have to be on that, regardless of who plays where on each wing. You know, they have to be prepared for whatever Portugal throw at them. So I do like that, but I definitely think Colombia will be on it in terms of they'll have seen the adjustments that Portugal will have made coming into this matchup.
What's your storyline to watch then, Jem?
My storyline was Colombia's backline and Munoz and getting 2 goals and how they will adjust to Jaydee from what he's saying. But I think they have been tight. They've only conceded 1 goal. So my storyline was, can they make it really difficult for Portugal again, which they've done so in the group games up against other. We saw how much Portugal struggled to break down a lower block, so whether they'll sit in within that or attack them higher up the pitch. But for me, it's how difficult can they make it for Portugal and kind of, not humbling, I think humbling's a bit aggressive, but from 5 goals against Uzbekistan, can they, you know, make it much more difficult for Portugal, which I 100% think they can.
And I thought we were going to see at some point in that game against DR Congo what we saw from DR Congo against Portugal, which was at some point DR Congo were going to attack them and make them uncomfortable. I never really felt, as a Colombia fan who was watching that game through the prism of wanting them to win, I never really felt that nervous about what DR Congo was offering in that game. I thought Colombia were always going to get over the line. It was about getting that second goal. Luis Diaz had 2 that were ruled out for offside. But I think in the overall, Colombia were comfortable winners in that game, which is not what I was expecting going in.
Mm-hmm. Storyline?
Yeah, so for me, it's the number 10 for Colombia. It has been all tournament long. It's James Rodriguez. I think he is the one player that can really take Colombia to another level from an attacking standpoint. I don't think we've seen his best so far at this tournament. I think it's entirely possible that this was one tournament too many for him, because obviously he is now up there in years. He's been a longer time away from playing consistently at club level. But I still think, I went back and watched him at the Copa America in 2024. I watched some of their qualifiers. He is the player that, for me, adds the most to Colombia when they're at their best. The key passage, I think, is such an important figure, but the way that he can open up a defense, the way that he can play crosses in off that right side, the way that he helps dictate the play coming back into midfield, I think he is the one player that, in a national team shirt, reaches another level. But we just haven't seen it so far at this World Cup. Maybe the game will be more open as a result of Portugal attacking more than maybe Uzbekistan and DR Congo did. So maybe that plays a little bit more to his favor. But I think Colombia cannot reach their ceiling unless he delivers high-level performances.
Do you think he's still the same player? Like, really? Like, not just, like, in terms of in name? I've already seen from Luis Suarez. I know what Luis Suarez and Lucho Diaz can bring. I already know who they are. But I'm surprised that you're still putting the responsibility on James Rodriguez at this stage of his career.
It's because he does it in a national team shirt. I think, consistently game in, game out at club level, for Minnesota United, for Leon, for whomever, it doesn't matter. In the yellow shirt, he's still that guy. Or at least he has been that guy up until this tournament. So, yes, I am still relying upon him to do something significant if I'm Colombia.
Game of fullbacks. Mendes up against Munoz. I can't wait for
That's the one. That's the battle right there.
Who's going to manage it? Munoz in the right back, Mendes in the left back for Portugal. Who's going to chance it? Who's going to take those moments? Who's going to read the game well enough to be able to jump out and really join the press or the attack? Munoz, we've seen it done so much in the World Cup so far, but will he do it knowing that if he leaves the space,
that's the best
Mendes can do it up the other end?
The other thing, too, with Colombia is both fullbacks have gotten forward. Mojica is also joined in the overlap a fair bit to help with Diaz. I'm not certain that can be an option in a game against Portugal. If you're going to need more numbers defensively, if you're going to need to put more numbers behind the ball, it would put a lot more pressure on that midfield to the defensive work if both of them are going. I think one of them might have to stay in this one.
Also, who's going to pick up Bruno Fernandes? Because I look Jefferson Lerma in that midfield, maybe potentially as someone, but what you don't want to see is Davison Sanchez having to start creeping into this midfield and its areas, because then that does leave Cristiano one-on-one. And I still believe in world football, if you leave Cristiano Ronaldo, even at 41, one-on-one in world football, he can still work half a yard and know how to find the back of the net. So I think managing the spaces and who handles the transition is going to be vitally important, because what you don't want to find is that you're in a 2v2 battle and you have your 2 Colombian midfielders against these 2 Portuguese midfielders. You're going to be in a lot of problems. You are going to be chasing shadows if you're chasing up against João Neves and Vitinha and you haven't seen a lot of the ball. That is not where you want to be in a Colombia shirt.
We've got a lot of comments here on YouTube about Ronaldo saying he should be benched.
Again.
And rest him for the knockout rounds. Do you not think we'll see that?
They got to win the group.
They got to win the group.
If they think that he helps them win, which they do, then he has to play this game and they have to go for it, because I do think that the position of the draw that you're in, having won the group, is different than finishing as runners-up. So I think that this is an important game for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wins the group. Should we bring in Buckets then? Whoever wants to put some bets on in this game, you can take some of his advice. Buckets, nice to see you. What have you got for us?
Good to see you guys. I'm saying nothing about Ronaldo. Nothing good, nothing bad. I'm not rage baiting. I'm not getting involved in this conversation.
I'm just reading the comments. I'm just reading what I'm seeing.
Staying away from it. I do have 2 bets for us all. And us sports bettors are a very fickle group of people. We're very annoying. I'll say that, being one myself, because people respond to the last matchup like it is the determining factor for the next matchup. And that first match with Portugal, DR Congo, everyone bet on Portugal to win. Match ended in a draw. Then they played Uzbekistan, and everyone said, okay, Portugal's washed. They're not going to. Then they won 5-0. And now everyone's saying, oh, they're back. They're going to beat Colombia. And I don't really operate like that, but I see the lines move in that mindset. Right now, the sportsbooks don't have Colombia scoring in this game. I think they're good enough to get a goal. I don't know if they're good enough to win. I think Portugal is the better side, especially with that aggressive midfield. But both teams to score being at even money, plus 100, I think that's too good a value to ignore because Portugal haven't been the best defensively. And even Uzbekistan almost had a goal in that matchup and had some decent chances. I expect this to be close with Portugal having to press for 3 points and having to make something happen, forcing a response out of Colombia, which takes me to my second bet, which is just a good line here for me. I am a Bayern Munich fan. I will let my Bundesliga bias show on this one. Luis Diaz to score or assist is almost plus 250, plus 245 right now. He already has a goal contribution in that first match. He should have had multiple goals if Colombia could have stayed onside in that second matchup against DR Congo, but he's carrying his form from Bayern Munich to his national team. We know that he's capable of scoring, and we know what he's capable of doing off the ball, creating chances for the players surrounding him. Again, I don't think Colombia win this match outright, but both teams to score and Luis Diaz to score or assist being big plus numbers is something I'm going to take every time, regardless of the opponent.
Lovely stuff. Witty, you think Colombia will get a goal?
Yeah, for sure. I really like Buckets' analysis there. Diaz at that price for goal or assist, fantastic. I think there is a slight, not overrating of Portugal, but I think maybe underrating of Colombia here. I think that this is a really good team and that a draw suits them. I don't think they'll play for a draw. I think they'll play for the win, but I think a draw suits them. And I think they'll be in this game. I think they'll at least get a goal.
Okay, everybody. Before we go to break, I think we're going to be taking a look at one YouTube comment that we have received.
Oh, gosh.
Regarding, I think it is regarding betting. Let's read it. The best bet for this game is Portugal money line. If Portugal win, we get a Messi versus Ronaldo quarter-final.
Well, that presumes them going all the way to the quarterfinal. But yes, that puts us on the path, the collision course for Messi Ronaldo. What's the percentage for the Athletics?
That'd be the most expensive ticket you ever seen in your life.
I know people who have who foresaw this, looked at the draw, and they're sitting on those tickets in the hopes that it's Messi Ronaldo. I agree with you. It might even be more valuable than a potential final.
Do you think so? It'd be more expensive.
It's the first time we've seen them
the most
over here as well.
Yeah.
That might be the most expensive ticket in football history.
Buckets, will you be going to that one?
Bet on that.
Unless you want to pay me a $153 million contract, give me that little Man City special. I think I'm going to have to miss that one.
Hey, so are you trying to tell us you haven't been earning enough money out of all your bets this World Cup?
Okay, now you're putting me in. I've won so much on my bets, and I'm being responsible. I'm having fun with it, but I haven't won 20 grand or whatever that ticket's going to cost.